I have a question for you about Europe. Please, can you tell us how much longer leftists will hold power? When will the shining sword of justice finally smite them, thus marking the new dawn? You know, this is an excellent question. Relevant, hopeful, righteous, but naive. Scientifically naive. You see, suppose the right swing occur in one or two countries, and mark my word, it will occur. Alas, it won't transpire simultaneously as you surmised. In regard to your question and the emotion you've put in it, no. I tell you that Europe will not see anything as beautiful and congruous as you described. Because primates, as a rule, tend to segregate one from another and lie low in their own diggings. They are fatuous and at the same time hysterical. They are not used to thinking, given how slow their brains are, and always ready to throw tantrums. This eagerness, you see, does not grow from mental power, but mental disorder. It's clear as day that nowadays, all over Europe, every sound-minded man and woman sympathizes with the right and votes for them. Even so, that's not the real problem. The bulk of European voters are either indoctrinated leftists, whose minds are poisoned with this criminal ideology, or outright invaders. They'll always vote for leftists because they hand them everything for free: welfare, property and salaries. Not even salaries, they're just dishing out money. This is a ring, a syndicate. The invaders of Europe, so-called migrants, and leftists form a criminal syndicate. Leftists have opened borders and let savages in, so they'll vote for them in return, despite having no right to do so. They have no right to vote. I am convinced that only the native, true-born Europeans should be granted suffrage. That, in my judgment, is how it ought to be. And yet, leftists have granted our enemies, an invading army of aliens, voting rights, so they can vote for left-wing parties. And there are millions of them already, tens of millions, which brings us to a sweeping population replacement. A rightward swing is inevitable, but it's getting harder and harder to carry it through physically, because whites are ebbing away. This is an absolute catastrophe. That's why I'm telling you, we must spare no effort to ensure the very existence of white civilization. Whites are already approaching endangerment. We must put an end to their replacement, which is unfolding everywhere, even in Russia. However, to watch the West die away is far graver and more manifest. We remember how beautiful Paris, London, Vienna and Milan once were, and now they're in shambles. I watched some footage of European city squares last Christmas, and it's a downright catastrophe. Instead of cheer and festivity, we saw a nightmare of occupation. These animals, these dumb brutes, were shrieking like madmen, making havoc and crushing everything. It was a fucking menagerie. In Paris, for example, they went as far as to cancel the open-air Christmas concert. That is, the left-wing authorities said out loud that they couldn't ensure public safety. Well, if you are too pathetic to do it, just let the army enter the city and throw old savages away. And don't call it a violation of human rights. What nonsense! There are no human rights where these creatures come from, and devil a bit they care for them. These savages, Islamists, Africans and other illegals have come to us to abolish such things as human rights. They come from fake countries, not even failed states which collapsed, but countries essentially non-existent. These lands are home to feuding tribes, and there is nothing but war, non-conventional war at that. They don't declare war on each other, nor do they conclude peace treaties. Their wars are nothing but endless slaughter, every tribe for itself. This is tribalism for you, savagery and carnage. And now they've brought all this cruelty and bloodshed to Europe. It was leftist traitors who led them in. We are facing this catastrophic invasion because of them. So that's the position. A shift to the right is indeed in full swing, but that's not the heart of it. I repeat, just asking such questions isn't enough. You must also broadcast my answers. You must fight, write posts of your own, become politicians, support right-wing movements, and above all, defend the white race from extinction. This is paramount. Hence my conviction that we must round off this conflict in Eastern Europe as soon as possible. White lives must be preserved, because we all are being attacked from the south of the map. That's what really matters. It is the bane of our age and historical challenge. Nothing else matters.